Hello students. So this is your first video to do. Make sure you have your notes out and ready, get your pencil ready. You can do them in pen too, it's okay. So that you know you'll be filling in the blanks. Feel free to pause me. You probably will want to pause me because I'm not going to wait for you to write. So just, no worries, just pause as you're filling in things. You can rewind. Just don't fast forward. Haha. Alright, so let's get started. So remember this crazy thing? Looking out at your faces, I don't know if it was working for you. So if this didn't work for you, no worries. But if you need a little mnemonic device, something that will help you remember, let's cook pizza now. Lipids, carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids. Then fantastic, super awesome Nido. Fatty acids, simple sugars, amino acids, nucleotides. So some people, maybe you have played this game before. Maybe you haven't. It's called Red Rover. I feel like as if you are children of the late 90s or even 2000s, you did not play this game because parents like to sue people. But it's a game that they used to play, in kindergarten or whatever, and they would say, Red Rover, send so-and-so right over. And so they'd pick the weakest kid on the other side of the team, and the kid would run through, and they would try to break the bond, the hand bond. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, please Google Red Rover and watch a video about it on YouTube. Rules of Red Rover. Then come back if you have no idea what I'm talking about, because this won't make sense. So when they're holding their hands, they're going to try to break through. So this has a point, I promise. The point is this. All over the place in our bodies right now, there's chemical reactions happening. The chemical reactions are breaking bonds and they're forming bonds. Now they're going to require a certain amount of energy in order to break the bonds, just like in the game Red Rover. So in Red Rover, there's a certain amount of energy that the kid needs to bust through the line of kids holding hands. Now, in a reaction, you have something called reactants. These are kind of like ingredients, and we're going to do a activity in class that has to do with this. And you have products. That's kind of like the finished product. Like right now, I'm at my house, right? Got my feet up, but I'm making salsa. So into the salsa, I put some tomatillos and some cilantro and stuff. It's on the stove right now. That's the reactants. At the end, after I've got it all done, that's going to be the product. It's going to be salsa, and hopefully it's going to be good. In Red Rover, the reactants are the hands being held on the side, and the product is that hopefully you're going to separate those guys, and you're going to have a new hand chain. So there's this thing called activation energy. It's the amount of energy you need to start a reaction. Just like there's a certain amount of energy needed to turn a doorknob in order to open the door, right? You can't get through a door unless you exert a certain little bit of energy to turn the doorknob and walk through the door. So we already talked about this, so I'm going to skip these slides. Now, there's this thing called an enzyme. An enzyme is a catalyst. So a catalyst is something that speeds up a reaction. It's going to increase a reaction. It's going to speed it up. Speed up a reaction. Make it faster. So in the Red Rover analogy, it's as if instead of the kids holding hands, they were locking thumbs. Well, that would sure be easy. No, like even the littlest kid could break through somebody's thumbs. So it speeds up a reaction. Look at that baby, so cute. So we have enzymes in our bodies, and one of our main enzymes that's kind of the most obvious is our saliva. Now, This is a true fact. Definitely at the dinner table, tell your family right now. If we did not have saliva, it would take 1,000,000 times longer to break down our food. Like 1,000,000. I'm not even just saying, oh, it's like 1,000,000. It is 1,000,000. 1,000,000 times longer to break down our food. So when you put that morsel into your mouth, the very first bite you take, your saliva is starting. Digestion begins. Your saliva breaks down that food, and it then goes into your, down your esophagus, into your stomach, and it will continue to be broken down by your stomach acid. But if it didn't have that initial breakdown from the saliva, it would take 1,000,000 times longer to break down in your stomach. And who wants their food in there 1,000,000 times longer than it already is? We would all have bad stomach aches. All right, so now there's something called a substrate. It sounds like a really fancy chemistry word. It kind of is. It's kind of like a puzzle piece or like a key in a lock. And what it's going to do is it's going to weaken the bond so that a new substance can be made. Now, enzymes are proteins, so homeostasis is important. It is not going to be able to function if it's too hot or too cold. It's got to be just right. It's just so amazing, and just another reason why our bodies are amazing. I believe there's a blank on your notes, and it says to draw this. This is like, seriously, you guys, hashtag on the test. You need to know this. When you see what's happening right now, this is the substrate. It's going to bond with the enzyme. Draw this in the box and know it. All right, so hopefully you paused me to draw that. Now, microscopes. We're going to use our microscopes in a couple weeks. Microscopes. They are really cool because they can see stuff that's really small that our eyes can't see. Even if you have a magnifying glass, you can't see it. So microscopes led to the discovery of cells. Those very important things that we all have. We have 100 trillion cells. Microscopes are what led to that discovery. Now, cell theory states that these three things, Mr. Parr sang about it. All organisms are made of cells. All cells come from other cells. And cells are the most basic unit of life. Three things. Cell theory is amazing. Cells from other cells. You heard Mr. Parr sing about it. So all cells have this thing called cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is kind of like Jell-O. Does anybody like this kind of Jell-O? We're not in class, so you can admit it. I do. I like Jell-O that has fruit floating in it. So the cytoplasm is like the Jell-O, and it's going to help the fruit, the organelles, kind of stay where they're supposed to inside the cell. Now, the organelles have really specific structures, and they also have specific functions. These organelles we'll learn more about in detail. So first, there's a couple different kinds of, there's two. There's two types of cells. There's either prokaryotes or eukaryotes. You have a blank, you have a box right now on your notes. Copy this chart in the box. So pause me as needed. Now here's the big thing that you need to know. This is on your homework here, is that both contain cytoplasm. Both are surrounded by a cell membrane. Need to know that. We already heard from Mr. Parr. Okay, so in class we're going to do a cell activity where we're going to talk about the different cells a little bit more and what's inside of a cell. But for right now, we're going to move on to something else called photosynthesis. Now, plants have a couple things that we do not have in our own cells. one of the things that they have is called chloroplasts. Chloroplast is where photosynthesis takes place. Photosynthesis is how plants get their energy. Plants get their energy from the sun. We do not get our energy from the sun directly, but indirectly, all the energy we get comes from the sun. Now, chlorophyll is a light-absorbing molecule, and it's inside the chloroplast. So when you see that word fill, think about like this. Fill, like fill up, right? Fill up with light. That is what enables the plant to get its own energy. Plants do not go to McDonald's. They probably shouldn't anyway, but, they do not need to go to the grocery store. Plants get all of their energy from the sun. Now, switching gears a tiny bit, is that there are two different things. There's diffusion and osmosis. I'm honestly, you guys, not even really going to talk about this because it's not very much on the, it's actually not on the test. But you do have some blanks there, so pause me, look at this slide, fill them in. Okay, so ATP is energy. Now, it is what our cells use to function. ATP is kind of like money for our cells. Like, you can't do nothing without the money. And if you have some money in your wallet, then life is good. You're doing good stuff. It's happening. You can have fun with your friends. If you spend all your money, then you've got to go to the ATM, right? So once you've used up your ATP, it becomes ADP. Again, this is more chemistry than we really get into in this class. But I want you to be familiar with the fact that ATP is the energy that our cells use. So remember I said photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is how plants get their energy. Cellular respiration is how we get our energy, how our cells get their energy. So again, two processes, photosynthesis and cellular respiration. So cellular respiration gets its energy from sugars and oxygen. Now, this makes it an aerobic process. That's why I put these really great pictures of 80s people doing aerobics. So aerobics means that it needs oxygen to happen. Cellular respiration needs oxygen to happen. Cellular respiration takes place in the mitochondria of every cell. Mitochondria, you'll learn, is, I call it mighty mitochondria. It is where the energy happens, where cellular respiration takes place. Now, there's something else called glycolysis. Again, we're not going to talk about it very much, but it's an anaerobic process. Anytime in science that you see this prefix AN means not. That looks like it says hot, but it says not. So ATP comes from breakdowns of foods like sugars. Now, sugars made from plants. This is photosynthesis. Therefore, you eat energy from plants directly when you indulge in a delicious salad that is so good for you, and indirectly when you eat meat or, well, really meat. So when you're eating a hamburger, believe it or not, you are eating energy that came from the sun. If it's from McDonald's, hopefully it's real meat in there. And that cow, the beef in there is a cow. The cow originally ate grass. So the grass got its energy, because it's a plant, from the sun. So you are indirectly eating the energy. Your higher sources of energy is if you ate the plant directly, right? So when you eat a salad, you're getting more energy for your cells, for your body, It's an easier access to your body. It doesn't go through an extra process. It is better for you. It is good for you. But hey, dude, I eat meat. You should definitely indulge in meat. But just be aware, no matter what you're eating, even the bun of the McDonald's burger, that got its energy from the sun because it's made from wheat. Wheat was a plant at one point. It's pretty crazy. So finally, producers, those delicious salad items that we're talking about, they are organisms that make their own food. We are the opposite of a producer. We talk about this, I think, in Unit 7, which is a consumer. Now, this down here is the chemical equation for photosynthesis. However, we are going to talk about it in much greater detail in class on Tuesday. So in Tuesday, we're going to talk about cells. We're also going to talk about photosynthesis, and we're going to do a lab. So we have a big day. So last but not least, remember that I had told you guys that there's going to be a secret password. So let me put it down here, your secret password of the day. I guess just because I'm thinking about it, is going to be hamburger. So I want you to reply to my email. Do not reply all. Don't you dare. Reply just to me or compose a new email, even better. Secret password is hamburger. If I don't get this password, your packet doesn't count. So here is your secret password. Secret password. So nice to see you guys. I'm really looking forward to a great few months with you. Credit Palooza and learning a lot and having lots of fun doing it. So I'll see you on Tuesday. You should have your homework number 1, number 2, and study guide ready to rock. Hey, if I didn't talk about something on there, like I didn't, just leave it blank because that's highly possible, you guys. And then we'll just talk about it together. Okay? All right. Have a great week. I will see you later. Bye.